Hey, what's up, guys? This is Cody the Coin Raptor, and welcome to my channel. I'm here to provide you the best crypto content you can find in 10 minutes. So today, we're going to be talking first about our Bitcoin chart, and then we're going to take a look at ETH, and then we're going to go ahead and look at the Ark Bitcoin monthly report that was put out recently. So first, with Bitcoin, Bitcoin has been hanging around this area right here. It's been hanging around that 200-week moving average that I've been talking about a lot. It's at about 22,874 right now, and Bitcoin has been sticking to it like a glove. All right, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit here, and we can take a look at the price action. So on my Twitter account, I called this out. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you can definitely see this as well. But I basically said that on this trend line right here, on this support level, Bitcoin tested this support level many different times. It tested it once, twice, 3 times, and then it finally broke through that level. And now it's this trend line right here, this resistance level now is preventing Bitcoin from moving up higher. So this support level that was previously retested several times, now it becomes a resistance. And now Bitcoin's gonna have a hard time moving up past it without some really strong volume coming in. So with Bitcoin, I expect that it's probably gonna come back down and touch about 20,000 or so in this region and consolidate down here, because it recently did that over here at about the 25th of July. So that's what I'm looking at right now, because it's shown a very consistent downtrend right now. Consistent with what we've seen here in this previous attempt to break out of the channel, and it has moved down from there. So I expect it's going to continue to move down until it finds a bottom, maybe even around about 20,000 if it keeps with this upward trend line, or maybe even slightly lower at about like 21,500 or so. That's what I'm looking for right now. So I think it's going to be going down in the short term. I have not bought any Bitcoin. I'm waiting right now for this to just play out a little bit more. I'd like to get it on one of these downtrends. I definitely want to buy under the 200-week moving average, because Bitcoin rarely spends any time at all under the 200-week moving average. And that, again, is at about 22,800. All right, so for Ethereum's held up a lot better in Bitcoin, with Bitcoin in many regards. It has come up here, done sideways consolidation, fallen down, and now it's back to doing sideways consolidation in this channel. So I expect it's going to continue with that sideways consolidation and maybe even gradually trend up as the Ethereum merge date comes closer. All right, so let's get to our main story here, and that's going to be Ark Bitcoin monthly report. So they always start off first with this Bitcoin market summary. And according to Ark Invest, they think the market sentiment right now is bullish. They think the on-chain activity is bullish. They think the macro picture is neutral. And honestly, I tend to agree with the market sentiment, the on-chain activity, and disagree right now with the macro, because I think actually the macro picture for Bitcoin and crypto as a whole is very bearish right now, and that's why we've seen Bitcoin fail to break out and the demand dried up, because we're basically right in the middle of a bear market right now. But Ark Invest says essentially what the market sentiment is that they said it's deleveraged, which is good. On-chain activity, they've said that it has bounced after finding this investor cost basis, and it has bounced from there. Bitcoin economics are in equilibrium, so they're not positive or negative. And then in the macro picture, they point out that the U.S. economy reported the negative growth for the second quarter, right, which a lot of people associate with the recession. So that's the big macro that's the big macro negative. And they say, well, okay, the Fed may actually pivot during the second half of the year. And by that, they mean the Fed's going to stop raising interest rates as fast, which I think is definitely possible. But I think the macro picture overall is not very conducive to Bitcoin, and investors have not regained a risk-on attitude. All right. And then they talk about Bitcoin reclaiming the 200-week moving average. We've followed the 200-week moving average constantly. I literally just got done talking about it. So they're just pointing this out. And then when it reclaims that 200-week moving average, that is seen as bullish. Okay? Then they have a summary of some of the Bitcoin points here, including mining difficulty, miners revenue, active owners, transaction volume, long-term holder supply, lock supply, and time-weighted turnover. And most of these are bullish, according to them. I think that some of these are bullish, some are not bullish. I think that the miner revenue right now has been downtrending quite a bit. Mining difficulty has stayed about the same as you'd expect. The transaction volume is up, which is definitely bullish for sure. This long-term holder supply is mostly neutral, which is fine. But I think that the Bitcoin economics right now, not bullish, but I would probably put them more in the neutral category. And then we come down here to the long-term valuation, market basis, the market cost basis, which according to them right now for July 2020, which is last month, it was about 21,800. So if you can buy below 21,800, you are below the average market cost basis, which is incredible. If you could buy actually below that level, that they're saying that's bullish because it's reclaimed that level. And then you go to the short-term holder cost basis, that's neutral. Percent supply and profit, that's neutral. Realized market returns, that's neutral. Perpetual futures basis, that's bullish. Expirational futures basis, that's also bullish. So they're about even on this one. Okay, and now this is what I was talking about earlier. There's this investor's cost basis, there's this market basis, and then there's the actual price itself. And according to Ark Invest, they're kind of neutral on this because we haven't seen a very strong breakout yet, a very strong breakout or move past the market cost basis and the investor cost basis. It's come down here a little bit, and it's dipped under, and it's peeked its head up just a little bit. But what they want to see is they want to see a larger move to the upside like we had here in 2020, or we had here at the end of that bear market cycle at about January 19th, April 19th, where you have this huge move upwards, and then that basically coincides with the end of the bear market. Okay. They're saying that the Bitcoin drawdown from all-time high is pretty significant right now. We've seen that it's reached up to about 70% or so, and they're just pointing out here, which is something I've pointed out, but they've pointed out here that usually when Bitcoin draws down, it draws down about 80%, and Bitcoin has not hit that point just yet. It's at the lowest point, it was about 75, 76% or so. So they're expecting that based on this previous bear market low, that Bitcoin is going to see more downside. Okay. They also point out that the Lightning Network capacity has reached an all-time high. That's something I've also pointed out. This is very important because it shows that people are actually using the Lightning Network, and I think that's very bullish for Bitcoin. All right. Now with Ethereum, they both come out here and they say the Ethereum to Bitcoin pair is still in this upward trend line. You can see that even despite the negative downward pressure we've received lately, that it's still positive. It's still very positive, and they're very happy about this. Let's see, and then the DeFi infrastructure is down significantly. The amount of total deposits and total loans are down significantly, but this is consistent with bear markets, generally speaking. So I'm not too concerned about that. Let's see. And then we have the macro conditions. We can see here that the United States was the most active buyer in July. That's consistent with what we've seen, especially in countries like China and Russia, where they've actually banned cryptocurrency. It's not surprising at all to see that most of the customers are actually in the United States. They point out that here's the United States GDP growth, and again, this kind of, for them, signals a recession because we have 2 quarters of negative GDP growth. And they also say that the inflation expectations are too high and economic activity is slowing down, judging by the gold and copper 90-day percent change, which is consistent with a slowdown. Okay, so you can see here it took a major hit, and it's at a negative 40 right now, the negative 40%. So they're just saying that this is a good indicator that the economic activity is slowing down. And next, they put up the very important Fed target rate probabilities. So what this is showing you essentially is what the market, or what the street thought that the likelihood of a certain interest rate increase happening. So back at the top of it, back in June, they had the highest expectations for the largest amount of a rate hike, and since then it's come down. This is consistent with what we've seen on inflation and CPI. It seems to have spiked in, I would say, June, July-ish timeframe. And so what they're saying here is that it's come down from that highs, and thus the Fed is going to ease on the rate hikes. They're gonna slow the rate hikes. They're gonna take less big rate hikes is basically what they're saying here, and they could end their tightening cycle. All right, so in summation, I really feel like this Bitcoin report is mostly neutral. From what I've seen based on the macroeconomic picture and a lot of the on-chain factors that they look at, I think the picture is very neutral right now, which I think is very good for Bitcoin and crypto investors, because when it's neutral and when things are chopping sideways, it's not falling, and thus I'm not saying that we couldn't fall further, but I'm saying that it looks like possibly the worst is over at this point. It would take a major crypto crash or a major crypto firm failing or going bankrupt in order for us to have a huge crypto collapse that would lead us to new lows, is what I'm saying here. And it seems like Ark Invest is mostly neutral to slightly bullish, which is kind of what I would expect from them. But I need to see more data. I need to see more information come out about the macro picture, about the economics of the economy, and see how well the economy is doing. A lot of that plays a huge part into it, but so far the price action for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency has been mostly neutral, mostly sideways, and that's fine, and I'm okay with that. It means the worst might be over. All right, so if you like this content, please let me know. Please like and subscribe and follow me on Twitter. I greatly appreciate that. This is Cody the Coin Raptor, signing out.